Viddhi maya manomayam Yadidam manasa vacha Chakshurvyam shavanadivi Nashvaram grayamanam cha Viddhi maya manomayam. Please chant.
Yadidam manasa vacha
Yadidam manasa vacha Nashvaram grayamanam cha Yadidam manasa vacha Chakshurvyam shavanadivi Nashvaram grayamanam cha Viddhi maya manomayam Yadidam manasa vacha Nashvaram grayamanam cha Viddhi maya manomayam. Matajis. Yadidam manasa vacha Chakshurvyam shavanadivi Nashvaram grayamanam cha Viddhi maya manomayam. Word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Yat, that which, idam, this world, manasa, by the mind, vacha, by speech, chakshurvyam, by the eyes, shravana adibhi, by the ears and other senses, nashvaram, temporary, grayamanam, that which is being accepted or perceived, cha, and viddhi, you should know, maya manamayam, it is only imagined to be real by the influence of Maya. Translation. My dear Uddhava, this is Supreme Personality of God is speaking. My dear Uddhava, the material universe that you perceive through your mind, speech, eyes, ears and other senses is an illusory creation that one imagines to be real due to the influence of Maya. In fact, you should know that all of the objects of the material senses are temporary. Purport. The question may be raised that since we find good and bad qualities throughout the material world, how can Lord Krishna advise Uddhava to see everything equally? So, in the previous verse, Lord Krishna tells that being always conscious of me, we should observe all things with equal vision. So, how can Lord Krishna advise Uddhava to see everything equally? So in this verse, Krishna explains that material good and evil are a creation of the illusory energy, just as the objects of a dream are a mental creation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Lord Krishna is actually everything because he is present within everything and everything is present within him. Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, the Lord and proprietor of all worlds. To see anything separate from Krishna is illusion. An attraction to any kind of material illusion, either good or bad, is ultimately useless since it obliges the living entity to continue wandering in the cycle of birth and death. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching constitute the activities of the 5 knowledge-gathering senses. Similarly, the voice, the hands, the legs and anus and the genitals constitute the 5 working senses. These 10 senses are organized around the mind, which is the center of material activity. When the living entity desires to exploit matter, he is covered by the 3 modes of nature. Thus he concocts different philosophical, political. In his original form is known as Krishna. The knowledge-gathering process culminates in perception of the inconceivable transcendental form of Krishna. One who is not perceiving Krishna in everything and everything in Krishna is undoubtedly on the platform of mental concoction. In this verse, Lord Krishna wants Uddhava to remain clear of this illusory platform of existence. Om Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Ina Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gauratishe He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinamandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Tenam Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all the senior devotees, all the Vaishnavas, especially Prem Sarup Prabhu, Amar Kishore Prabhu, and all other devotees, so that I can speak something for my purification, for glorification of Supreme Lord and the devotees. Hare Krishna. This can be removed. Hare Krishna. So this is Uddhava Gita. So Supreme Lord, Srinivas was mentioning a few days back that Supreme Lord is a teacher who is concerned for his students. Not only the conditioned souls, but the newly arrived devotees and also the perfected living beings. So you see that Krishna spoke to many people. Krishna gave teachings of Bhagavad Gita when he was 89 years in this world. He gave Bhagavad Gita to his dear devotee Arjuna at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And now he is giving the Uddhava Gita when he is 125 years old. He is about to wind up his pastime. But all this knowledge is transcendental knowledge, it's ever existing. It's not like it's given a certain point of time. Like Krishna says to Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita that I am telling you, I have spoken this to the sun god millions of years ago. So this transcendental knowledge is not material, this is eternal and never existing. But just like Krishna manifests particular time, this transcendental knowledge also manifests. So this is Krishna's great mercy actually. Krishna is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is ever well-wisher of all living entities. No matter whatever the living entity does, Krishna doesn't stop thinking about them. Krishna is always concerned about the welfare of the living entities in this material world. So he is concerned about their deliverance. Maya Mugdasya Jiver Nahi Krishna Smritagyam Jiver Kripai Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. So the living entity is forgetful of Krishna and they don't have any knowledge. They have forgotten their real identity. Who am I? That is, we have to give the name of the session. Who am I? Who is God? What is our relationship with God? So living entities have no idea about this. So to help them get this knowledge, Krishna gives his Veda and Purana and all this Vedic literature. This is Krishna's great mercy. So Krishna appears in different forms to make us aware of the reality. Krishna manifests like different incarnations. Krishna manifests as the holy Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna manifests as holy name. Krishna manifests as the deities. Krishna manifests as the devotees. Krishna manifests as the spiritual master. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita said, Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janan Krishna Mara Prabhu Trata Jivera Hai Gyan. To the medium of Shastra, to the medium of Guru, to the medium of Krishna himself, Krishna gives us knowledge and he delivers us. So one should take help of these instructions. Because that is our only hope. Because by no material means the living entities come out of this illusion. People make so much effort to come out of the illusion. There are so many, as is purport saying, so many philosophical speculations, mental speculations people do to come out of this illusory effect. But unless one take help of this instruction, one cannot get out of this illusion. Because this world is governed by the Maya potency, the Maha-Maya potency. This world is compared to a jail, Durga. The Adhishtatri Devi is Durga, who is the fortress of this fort. So in this world also there are many, many jails where the prisoners are put into because of their crime, because of not following the laws of the government. They are put. But we see that in this world the jails are, even if the jails are so formidable, difficult to cross, still we have seen in the history. Jai Shri Nitai Gaurang Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So even at the best of the jails, we have seen that there are histories that prisoners have escaped from the prison. Some of the prisons are middle of the some ocean, but still the prisoners have escaped from that prison. So, and there are so many serials. When we were in college days, we used to see one serial called Prison Break. Such a wonderful way they create such system. The jail is so formidable. There are so many guards, and it's located in such a place where people cannot come out. But still, because they invent some amazing way to escape from the prison. So I think there is no jail in this world that prisoners have not escaped. But this jail of material world, this Karagar, by no material means, there is no history of anyone by his own endeavor has escaped this prison. There is not a single person in the history of the whole humanity, or whatever you say. There is no history, no account of any prisoner escaping from this prison of material world. And this prison house has no bars. Ordinary prison house have their bars and there is chains. There are no bars. So it's very difficult to make people feel how this is prison. I am free. There is no bars, no chains. But Shastras tell us that the living entities are shackled by the sex desire. Because of disobeying the laws of Krishna, the living entities are shackled by sex desire. That is what keeps the living entity bind in this material world. So this verse talks about how, my dear Uddhava, the material universe that you perceive through your mind, speech, eyes, ears and other senses is an illusory creation that one imagines to be real due to the influence of Maya. So the Maya is actually creating variety of illusion. One of them is this sex desire that we're talking about. Maya produces variety of illusions, and for different people, different illusions. Because Maya knows everyone's. Maya is Krishna's potency. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar. Maya is Krishna's potency only. So Maya is empowered by Krishna. Right? So he knows our in and out. What is our weakness, what is our strength. Maya knows every detail, even more than us. So Maya knows what type of illusion to create so that this living entity can be kept bound in this material world. Because that is a job profile. To keep bound in the living entities, the independent mentality. The living entities are having independent mentality. The living entities, those who don't want to serve. Maya's job profile is to keep them bound in this material world. Because the spiritual world is a place of service. Right? So if one is not willing to serve, then he has to stay in this material world. So Maya's job is to keep such living entities bound in this material world by her different illusions. And one of the prominent illusion is that the craving for the sense object. Most of the 99.99% of the living entities are illusioned by this craving for the sense object, right? And some few rare souls tend towards impersonal liberation. That Prabhupada tells that is the last near of Maya, that one wants to be God. But that is very rare. A rare percentage. The most of the living entities are illusioned by the craving for the sense objects, sense gratification. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about this. Dhayato visayat pumsa sangaseshu vajayate sangat sanjayate kama kama krodha vijayate. Meditating on the object of the senses causes attachment. And when such attachment, Shangasya Shubhajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama. And from such attachment, lust develops. And this lust, when fulfilled, it creates greed, lobha. And it's not fulfilled, it creates anger, krodha. Skrodhat bhavati sammohan, sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti bhramsat, buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashati. So when one gets angry, one's mental stability is lost. Sammohas, one is illusion. Sammohas smriti vibhrama. All the smriti, all the good instructions are forgotten. Buddhi nashati pranashati, and one falls down in the material pool. And there are innumerable accounts throughout the scripture where we can see that the living entity has been caught up because of meditating on the sense objects. We see Ajamil. Ajamil just saw a glance of prostitute having illicit affair with a Shudra. And just by seeing that small glance of that passionate union, the problem that happened, that Ajamila started contemplating on that scene, and that created attachment for that prostitute. And later on we see that Ajamil drove away his mother, father and his chaste wife and brought the prostitute and got engaged in more and more lusty activities. And then we see that Ajamila forgot all his spiritual duties and he became a rogue, he became a thief, he became a dacoit. So such are the illusion of Maya. And we are going to discuss one such pastime from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the story of King Pururava. So in the section of this Uddhava Gita, part of this Uddhava Gita is the Aila Gita, the song sang by the king Aila or Pururava. So I just recently reading this Aila Gita, so I thought of sharing this. So this is a song by Emperor Pururava, who was bewildered by the association of the heavenly damsel Urvashi, and later he became renounced and he sang this song of Aila Gita. So in the 9th canto, the story of Pururava comes that this Pururava is the son of Budh and Ila. So that is why his name became Aila, or another name is Pururava. So this Pururava was a great emperor, but one time it happened that Urvashi, who was a heavenly damsel, she was cursed by Mitra and Binda, two demigods, and because of that she developed humanly habits. She's Apsara from the heavens, but because of that curse she developed human habits. So she got attracted to this Pururava, who was a great emperor, and he was very beautiful, very charming and very handsome. So Pururava got attracted to this Urvashi, got attracted, and Urvashi proposed. And this Pururava, he also got attracted to this heavenly damsel, and both of them wanted to have sexual union, but there was conditions. So Urvashi gave conditions. What are the conditions? You have to protect these two lambs who are just like my sons. You have to give me preparations made ghee, pure ghee, not outside ghee, pure desi, pure cow ghee. And I should never see you naked. So Pururava agreed for that. This is the nature of material enjoyment, that one is ready to accept difficult conditions because the craving is so high. One forgets what it takes to fulfill those conditions. But when there is a craving for the sense object, one forgets. One becomes irrational. So like this, Pururava started enjoying with Urvashi, and time was passing by. And here Indra, the king of the heavens, was feeling the absence of Urvashi, right? He was feeling that without Urvashi, my assembly is no longer beautiful. There is no charm in this assembly of heaven without Urvashi. So Indra instructed the Gandharvas, please go in the earth and get my Urvashi back. So what did the Gandharvas do? So the Gandharvas attacked the kingdom of Pururava and stole away the lamps in the dead of the night. And Pururava, being engrossed in the company of Urvashi, he was completely naked. And Urvashi, because these two lamps are just like her two sons, so when they were taken away, Urvashi started chastising in the middle of the night. You are like a eunuch. You are so coward. If you're really a hero, then protect my two lamps. And what can be done? Because when the source of material enjoyment, to keep that source of material enjoyment, one is ready to go to any extent. So in that naked state, Pururava forgot to dress, and in that state he took a sword and went in the dead of night to search for the lamps. How foolish, right? He is a great emperor. He is the king of the whole world. But he is, because of this illusion, because the illusion of material enjoyment, he is ready to do such foolish things. And finally he got the lamps. But at that time, what the Gandharvas did, they flashed on light. And Urvashi saw this Pururava as naked. And because his condition was not fulfilled, Urvashi left. And that created such terrible lamentation in Pururava that you are suffering even more. So this is the nature of enjoyment. As this verse is, it is temporary. All of the objects of the material senses are temporary. So to the degree we try to enjoy them when they are present with that, to that degree or more, they will be suffering when those objects are taken away. And the nature of this world is those sense objects will definitely be taken away. Either they will be separated from us, or will be separated from this world. But it's going to be temporary. But the forgetful living entity thinks that this will be there eternally. This sense object will be there with me eternally. This will give me pleasure eternally. So Lord Indra was so Urvashi was again back to the heavenly planets. So Pururava was so much lamentation. He was constantly weeping in remembrance of Urvashi. And then he was roaming throughout earth like a madman, Bhagavatam says. And then at the place of Kurukshetra, he met again Urvashi. And then he again expressed a desire to enjoy her. And this time Urvashi told that in 1 year I will give you association for one night only. So every time some material enjoyment comes, all it is a condition. there is terms and conditions. Terms and conditions are put in very small, like you see the mutual funds, they'll put this much you will get return, this much profit you will get, or this much return will come, but there will always be terms and conditions, and that will be written very in a small letter. The nature of this material enjoyment. So now Urvashi said that in a year, only one night will enjoy. So like this every year after year, Purva was enjoying, but he was not satisfied. So he was praying to so Urvashi told, if you pray to the Gandharvas, then they will fulfill your desires. So they prayed to the Gandharvas, the Purva prayed to the Gandharvas, and Gandharvas gave one girl exactly who looks like Urvashi. And when Purva wanted to enjoy, he saw this is not Urvashi. So Prabhupada writes in that purport that living entity becomes one of the nature of material enjoyment is that one wants a particular object to enjoy. Without that object, one cannot enjoy. He is a great emperor. He can have any other woman for his enjoyment, but he is only attached to Urvashi. So Pururava could understand this is not Urvashi. So again he got into lamentation. And like this, meditating on Urvashi, enjoying with Urvashi, what happened? Treta Yuga came. So Bhagavatam says in his heart, because in the meantime Treta Yuga appeared, in his heart the desire for sacrifice appeared, by which all that we desire can be achieved. So he started performing sacrifice. And the fire sacrifice, he worshipped Supreme Lord. And Supreme Lord, when he appeared, he desired for Urvashi. And Supreme Lord fulfilled his desire and went to Gandharva Loka. And there, the 9th canto story ends. So one may think, just like in the movies they show that, they are happy ever after. But Bhagavatam doesn't create illusion. Bhagavatam gives reality. So the 11th canto, again this story of Pururava comes in a short form. This time not Pururava's romantic affair with Urvashi, but reality. Bhagavatam gives reality. So in the 11th canto, in this part of the Uddhava Gita, in the 26th chapter, comes this Aila Gita, where Pururava laments. Pururava being separated from, after Gandharva Loka also, he was not there forever with Urvashi. He got again separated. So there King Aila laments for being illusioned by this illusory energy of Maya. So his statements are very enlightening. So I'll just discuss some of the statements. Alas, just see the extent of my delusion. The goddess was embracing me and held my neck in her grip. My heart was so polluted by lust that I had no idea how my life was passing. That lady cheated me so much that I did not even see the rising or the setting of the sun. For so many years I passed my days in vain. So when one is engaged in material enjoyment, one doesn't have any track of time. Bhagavatam says that Ayur harati vaipumsan audanastanchayan asho. By the rising of the sun and by the setting of the sun, once one day is gone. One is one day more closer to the death. But when one is engaged in self-gratification, one loses the track of time. Practical experience, actually. When we are Krishna conscious, we are very time conscious. When my japa will end, when the 16 rounds will end, when the class will end, when Krishna conscious activity, we are very time conscious. when this will end. When it ends, we get pleasure. But when sense gratification, there is no track of time, right? Time passes like anyway. I see after prasadam, after Bhagavatam class, 2-3 minutes we pray in front of Nitai Gauranga. Like that also that time, prasadam, desire for craving for prasadam creates longing. No, you are fasting for so long. So take prasadam. And when you go prasadam hall, you forget everything, lose track of time. And how 1.5 hour passes in such really I lose track of time. Not for other devotees, for myself, I lose track of time. So this is the nature of material enjoyment, that one forgets how time is passing by. That is why one engages in sense gratification and chases after material sense object. Whole life, materialistic people, whole life passes. Bhagavatam says at the daytime, working hard to earn money, to maintain family, and for getting other sense objects, and the night one wastes the time in sleeping or in sexual intercourse. So like this, day and night are passed in illusion, in sense gratification, and one loses the track of time. And then King Aila said, "Alas, although I am supposed to be a mighty emperor, the crown jewel of all kings on this earth, just see how my bewilderment has rendered me a toy animal in the hands of women." So one becomes puppet. So many great emperors we see in the history who were seduced by women, and because of that they have lost great kingdom. So the craving of the sense object make one puppet. We see in the story of the Samundra Manthan pastimes also. The demons, they got the nectar. So they snatched away the nectar from the demigods. And now they could have distributed easily and have taken the nectar. But because there was Mohini Murti, they very easily gave it to Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti herself was telling, how can you trust a woman? So, but the glamour, charming beauty of the opposite is so enchanting that one forgets all his discriminating nature. One cannot discriminate when one was charmed by the beauty of the opposite sex. One's rationality becomes dysfunctional. So here also, actually, this Pururabha mentions that Urvashi time to time would give him doses of renunciation, but because the intensity to enjoy is so deep that one cannot understand these instructions. Although I was powerful lord with great opulence, the woman gave me up as if I were no more than an insignificant blade of grass. So Urvashi gave up, though he was emperor, but she gave up like an insignificant blade of grass. So one's ego is so much tormented in the course of material enjoyment, but still, Pururabha said, I was naked without shame, I followed her. Such is the craving for sense object. Even after I had served the so-called nectar of the lips of Urvashi for many years, my lusty desires kept rising again and again within my heart and were never satisfied, just like a fire that can never be extinguished by the oblations of ghee poured into its flames. So the lust burns like a fire. Even if one engages repeatedly, still that fire is not satiated. It's like pouring ghee. The fire keeps on increasing and increasing and increasing. So one cannot find the satisfaction actually in fulfilling the lust desires because it cannot give the satisfaction that the heart is looking for. Because we are not material bodies. All this actually, the senses and this body are material, right? But the soul is spiritual, so he needs spiritual pleasure. No amount of material pleasure actually can satisfy the spirit soul. But because he has forgotten his identity, he thinks himself to be body. He thinks that all these material objects can fulfill the need of my heart. But actually, the spirit soul need for pleasure can only be fulfilled in spiritual dimension. Right? So no amount of material enjoyment can fulfill the longing of the heart. This Pururava was the greatest of the kings, and the Urvashi was the greatest of the damsels. So still, even if one get high degree of material enjoyment, still that is too insignificant to fulfill the necessity of the heart. Right? So, being separated from Urvashi, Pururava sings this song of Aila Gita, and he laments, and the detachment is created in his heart. Right? So, these stories and these meditations can help us time to time to meditate on the object nature of material enjoyment. Thus we can be aware of the nature of material enjoyment, because these illusions are very, very powerful. These illusions are very, very powerful. So we have to repeatedly hear these instructions so that we remain aware and we are not entangled. So in this world, I was hearing one lecture of Gaurang Prabhu. So he was mentioning that in this world, actually there are two things that drive people. One is that sexual desire, the sex drive, not just gross sex, but the subtle sex in the form of name, fame, prestige, adoration. This is one drive because of which the whole world is revolving. All this, Prabhupada says, all these industrial revolutions are the manifestation of because of this sex drive. And there is another drive, that is the drive of sound vibration. So the materialists are driven by this sex desires, and the spiritualists are driven by this sound vibration. So the sound vibration, so as a spiritual practitioners, we have to be driven by this sound vibration. That is why regularly hearing these vibrations from Srimad Bhagavatam can drive us properly. So either to be driven by this sex desire, or either to be driven by this sound vibrations. We have no other choice. Either of them we have to be driven by. So we have to choose to be driven by this sound vibration, the sound vibration of this Srimad Bhagavatam, the sound vibration coming from the lotus mouth of Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master and our Shiksha Gurus. So we have to be driven by their sound vibration. And that can help us come out of this illusion, because this illusion is so strong. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi eshi gunamahi mama maya durattaya. This is insurmountable. So that is why scriptures give repeated instructions, so that we are aware of this insurmountable Maya energy, and we repeatedly take the help of instructions given by Guru and Krishna. Then only we can be free from this illusion. So this lust, this is so powerful, drives one to be mad. So that same lust, as Srila Prabhupada says, that has to be engaged in service of Krishna, in fulfilling the desires of the spiritual master. So then only this lust can be curbed. So, like last month, we are meditating on the Damodar pastime. We see Mother Yashoda is working hard to bind Krishna. Swamatu Sinna Gatraya Visrishta Shavarakraja Kabarashraja. And then, what is the next line? Dishtva Parishramam Krishna. Dishtva Parishramam Krishna. Kripaya Sit Swabandhane. So Dishtva, I was just meditating yesterday. Dishtva Parishramam Krishna is, she is so working so hard. And when Krishna is satisfied, seeing her hard endeavor, hard labor, Krishna agreed to be bound. And in that purport, it's very interesting that Prabhupada writes that when Krishna is satisfied, he will automatically fulfill everything. Right? So that should be our parishram also, that to satisfy Krishna, to satisfy Guru and Krishna and the Vaishnavas. By that, when they are satisfied, all our spiritual desires will be fulfilled and will be protected from the illusions of Maya. So every day we have this opportunity of doing this parishram. Mother Yashoda is doing parishram to bind Krishna, but we are not the level of Mother Yashoda. We are a sadhaka, so we have to do parishram to keep ourselves always in the spiritual realm. We have to do parishram to align ourselves with the desire of Guru and Krishna. Even on a practical level, we have to do parishram to focus our mind on the chanting of Hare Krishna. His mind is running here and there. And we have to do parishram to do our services that are given to us. And here at ISKCON New Town, Kolkata, we have so many wonderful projects, Abhay Tirth, and now book distribution is coming. So much opportunity to do that parishram. And if we do that parishram, then all these illusions, all this lust that through which Maya is binding us in this world, one can transcend all of them. Otherwise, there is no other way. There is no material means by which one can come out of this illusion. Only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna one can come out of the illusion. So by doing this parishram, remembering Mother Yashoda as she did parishram to bind Krishna, we can also bind Krishna. Means we can receive Krishna's mercy. So from this verse, this meditation we can have that this Maya, potency of Maya is very, 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 very powerful. And by repeatedly hearing these instructions and aligning our lives with these instructions, doing that hard work, one can be free. And definitely one will be able to cross over this Daivesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durataya Mamevahi Prapadante Mayametam Tarantite. By the mercy of Krishna, one can get out of this illusion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So all these instructions are actually for me, because time to time we are trapped by Maya. So all these instructions are me. So please pray for me, so that by your mercy I can be protected from Maya. Okay. Hare Krishna. And if I have spoken anything beyond my realization, beyond my adhikar, so please forgive. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari.